All right, everyone. My name is Asenet, and I'm going to be presenting my genogram. Let me share my screen. Okay. All right. So for my group members, thank you for taking the time to watch my video. Um, this is essentially my genogram. Um, and I guess I'll start off by just kind of starting with grandparents going down, and at the same time kind of talked about family members and just kind of how it affected um or just had an influence in my life, or just significant events, and just kind of tackle the same thing all at once. And then I can just do overview. So I named it the Prieto Rico genogram. On this side would be the Prieto side, my dad's side, and this one would be my mom's side, the Rico, which would be her maiden name. Um, Here we have both of my grandparents. On both sides, both of my grandparents have passed away, and they passed away relatively at a um early age. For me, I only was able to meet my dad's side, both of and then my mom's, just my grandpa. And essentially, um my grandma passed away due to cancer, and now that I'm realizing, I didn't add it, but she passed away due to cancer when my mom was about my 27. um she had me a couple years later. My parents, my dad's side, they just kind of passed away of old age. And my mom's dad, he passed away in his 90s, and he was really I just remember thinking he's so old, but he's here and he just seems so healthy. And I think of all my grandparents, that's who I have the most memories with. um so just my basic family. So my mom and dad, they're both still married. I am the oldest of three girls, so I'm 28. My middle sister is 27, and my little sister is 21. None of us are married yet. We're not engaged. Um, I should have added my little pets. I think that's as far as daughters or sons that we have, our three little dogs. One who passed away, and I've been dealing with her passing away this year, and I wish I would have added her, because it's been an impact for me losing my first dog. I had her for 16 years, so I didn't add it, but I wish I would have, because she means a lot to us, and it's something that we've been dealing with this year. So on my dad's side, as you could see, he did both of them had, actually both of them had a big family. My dad's side is a little bit interesting. One of the biggest, I guess, events just to know is that out of my whole family, both of my parents were people who immigrated. Um, and although my dad's family kind of also had people come here, come and go, none of them actually stayed except my dad and my uncle. From my mom's side, it's only been my mom. And then I wrote this in my paper, but I totally didn't include that I also was born in Mexico, and my middle sister, and I should have added this symbol again, as we also left Mexico. We were early in our age, but I was 7, she was what, 3, um, when we moved to the US. And I think that's a big part of my life that I should have included as well. Just I remember leaving Mexico, and I just remember I was so young and telling my dad I don't want to leave, and both of my parents would tell me, well, you don't like the US, we'll be back in 6 months. Obviously we never went back, but that was definitely a big life event, coming to the US, not knowing English for those years, just adapting to life, the language, even though we lived in a predominantly Latino community, just adapting to this new idea of the American way was very interesting. Um, I just remember going to school with my kind of like the school uniform expectations of Mexico. They were very different. You had to do knee-high socks, you had to do like your hair had to be slick. And I just remember my first couple of years, I really tried to uphold that, and I didn't realize things were so different here. And that also kind of signaled me out as like a different kid. Um, and just little things like that that definitely had a big influence in my life. And I think I've been here for so long that I sometimes forget that I'm not from here, but I've been here for so long that I feel like I am from here. It's a lot. So sorry, going back to my dad's side. So my dad's side, like I said, these are the two people that were able to actually stay in the US. Unfortunately, my dad and my uncle kind of had a fallout, and they didn't really continue their like brother relationship here in the US. So we were never really able to communicate with them. I know that he does have a wife and kids, but we never had a relationship with them. And it's kind of unfortunate because he is the one that's here and he lives relatively close to me, but we've never bumped into each other. We've never had a relationship. And then um, something very interesting also about my dad's side of the family is that most of his siblings are not married. Um, they were people who just had really strict parents, and just had this way of life that sometimes they didn't really put themselves in the dating scene. They thought they had to take care of my grandparents or just uphold they had a tortilla business, they still do. And that was their focus. So they never really married. And so right now, it's most of them and living in one house. And the bottom floor is essentially the business. So as you see, like a lot of them don't have partners. And then the one at who did marry, she has three daughters, and these are the only cousins I know of and have met on my dad's side. Everybody else, like I said, is unmarried. Something very interesting is that um, I don't know, my dad's side of the family, it sometimes makes me sad just to think they're the nicest people and they've gone through so much. My uncle here, he passed away early on due to suicide. And I think that was also a very big event in my family and just my dad's side of the family, just how they coped with it. Just knowing that the little brother, what he was going through in terms of mental health that led him to that point. And I feel just overall, my dad's side of the family has definitely a lot of trauma that they haven't talked about. And I definitely see it in my dad sometimes. Just the way he shows emotions, just the way he um, responds to things, and just now as the man of the house who married as well, just the pressure that he has, and feeling that he has to be there for his siblings. They're older. My aunt right here, severe mental health, schizophrenia, and it's also affected really bad just the dynamic of them. And just I think my dad's side of the family is constantly just in a cloud of, I don't know, loneliness, just mental health issues. And sometimes I wish I could do more, but I'm over here and they're over there. They're very stuck to their Catholic ways and just old school thinking. And sometimes, as much as you want to talk to them about mental health and getting help, sometimes they believe it's due to other stuff. And so it's been hard to really be there for them. Um, but it's definitely had an impact in my relationship with some of my aunts and uncles. Um, Also, just my dad, the constant worry that he's in and the pressure that I know he has to be for that, to be there for them. Um, yeah, that's a little overview of my dad's side of the family. On this side is my mom's side. Like I said, my mom is the only one here from her side of the family. And then this is where I feel like I have a big family. Normally, this tends to be the side of the family we normally hang out with the most. And what I mean with hang out is every December is basically our only chance to go back to Mexico and be with family. And so when we go back, that is the family that we tend to kind of be around the most. Um, I tend to know my cousins more, know about my aunt's life and my aunts and uncles' lives a little bit more. Um, and I think from my mom's side of family, like kind of on my dad's side, I talked about a lot of trauma, like mental health. I think on my mom's side of the family, it's been a lot of just kind of like physical health. Here we have my aunt Marilu, and then this is one of my mom's closest siblings. She's the one I hear constantly on the phone, talking to. That is like my mom's kind of safe person. And I think um one of my mom's biggest worries is just her health. She's a breast cancer survivor. She has diabetes. She's currently on a dialysis, and that person, she's just an awesome person, and then everybody kind of really looks out for her because she kind of holds the family together. She's a party person. She's just that person. And so when she's sick, you could just feel family coming together. And I'm gonna say this because a year ago we thought she wouldn't be here. It was a rough time right around this time. She was in the hospital. They were telling us that was it. Um, and every time she's able to make it through. Um, and I just feel like my family would not know what to do without her. She has just such a resilience. She just has a fight in her and for life, and we see it. And I think we constantly just look up to her, and we just love her so much. And I think that our family comes together for her and also becomes a part for her. It's really interesting, but that her family is also very interesting. My uncle, who's great. Sometimes they have a weird relationship. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad. My uncle is sometimes struggles with alcohol issues, and I feel like it's trickled down into it's affected one of my cousins, um, who kind of struggles with substance use. And I think again, I keep focusing on this family because it really has a big impact in the whole family. Here, everybody talks about it, each other knows each other's business for the most part. And I think constant focus is in my aunt because of her health. Um, we find ourselves getting involved. And when I say we, my mom, involved in her immediate family and just supporting her. But yeah, that's kind of it. Um, we have my other aunt, my cousin. Um, she was a single mom. Um, this is my cousin who just all her life, she was a single child, so she's made herself be this person that just constantly goes out and about and like goes out of her way to have fun. I have a close relationship with these cousins. When I do go to Mexico, this side of the family, it's my mom's brother, and they live a little bit farther away from us, so I don't really have a close relationship with them. And then this cousin I have a close relationship with. She my mom's aunt my mom sorry my mom's sister, um her husband, this was another tragic event. My uncle got passed away. He got run over, and that was another traumatic event in my family. My other aunt, this is my mom's oldest sister. She also had diabetes and cancer, and she passed away. um and so this is my other aunt who, um she's kind of distant, but I still know my cousins for the most part. And then most recently, this is one of my mom's sisters who passed away due to COVID. And so that has been a recent death that definitely has affected the family dynamic, and just overall, this year has been tough dealing with like grief and just seeing her family cope with it, and my mom's side of the family cope with it. In Mexico, one of the hardest things is when someone passes away, basically they pass away within the next day or the day after, services are held. And something that was very kind of sad for myself and my mom was that there were no flights that would have taken my mom just in time for my aunt's viewing. So my mom was never able to go to the viewing and just to say her goodbyes. By the time my mom would have gotten a flight, the services would have been over, and my mom just kind of that she took it hard, and she as much as she wanted to be there, she's like, there's not much I can do. But that's something that has made me really sad, just realizing just border separation, things that they do, and like as much as you want to be there for family, sometimes technical stuff like that gets in the way. Um, that has definitely been tough. Um, and I think just in general, those are some of the events that I would say have impacted my family the most, dealing with like mental health issues, just death. I think as a big family, you can kind of come together. For me, my relationship with both sides, it's kind of very limited to just the time I spend with them in December. Thankfully, I've always been on an academic kind of schedule, so I've been able to go for the most part. December's for like 2, 3 weeks, and that is my one and only time to just be with family. To be honest, other than throughout the year, I don't have family here. We don't have uncles, aunts, grandparents, cousins to celebrate holidays or birthdays with. So when we do, it's in December, and we make sure to soak it in and just be with family and um, celebrate the holidays. I think I also come from like a Catholic background, so religion is important to at least my mom's both sides of the family, and so a lot of like me going in December, it's doing the celebrations for the saints and celebrating Christmas, just really coming together as a family. Um, and like I said, I think for me doing this genogram, I didn't really have my uncles or aunts so easily to like call and pick up. Also, like, I don't really have their phone numbers. It's just through my parents. So I really focused on what my mom and dad remembered. I couldn't go beyond that because my parents also wouldn't really remember much about their grandparents. So it was very just limited to like the third generation, what I know about my cousins and just my um uncles and aunts. Um, but yeah, I think for the most part, I think I covered just kind of each person and their significant impact in our family. And just, I guess if I were to summarize, like just the implications, like I come from a big family for sure. And with that is like a lot of positiveness of even though I don't have them here with me in the US, and it's definitely played a big role in growing up and feeling like I don't have family here. I know that in those 3 weeks when I go home, it just feels like I never left. But I feel like it's also very hard to manage family and be with family and know family when you're so many miles away, and it's not like I can just get on a call or get on the phone and get on a car and just drive over to be there of support. um so it's mixed feelings. There was definitely mixed feelings doing this genogram for me. And one of the things I talked about was like sometimes when I think of family here, I think of my mom's friends who are like my aunts and who I'm not who I didn't include in genogram because they're not directly blood, but stuff like that sometimes gets overlooked. But overall, I think this is kind of just a basic background of my family, just individual things. So if you have any questions, you can comment it, I'll reply. But I really appreciate you taking the time to review my genogram with me, know a little bit about my family, and just kind of important parts about it. Okay, so I'm going to end it. Thank you so much for watching.